Hey, Andrew from SureFire. Today I want to talk to you about scout light switches and tail caps. So we have a whole lot of tail caps and accessory pressure switches that can go with the scout light. Out of the box, when you buy a scout light from us, it comes with a Z68, that's the part number, for the push button tail cap. It's a shrouded push button. The advantage and the purpose of that is obviously with a long gun, a lot of times you're gonna have that firearm slung and you don't want the light accidentally discharging when it's hitting on your kit or your gear or whatever it might be. So it's shrouded for that reason. It also gives you the ability, it's a click switch, but if you put your thumb over both sides of it, you can pretty intuitively and consistently momentary activate it without accidentally constant on, if that's something that you might want to consider. But at the same time, you can just push it all the way forward for constant on activation and it'll stay on. So that's the switch that the lights normally switch with. It's an outstanding switch, but with modern rifles and the accessories that we're putting on them, it might be used for night vision. Maybe you have a laser, might be harder to get to the light. And in those cases, a remote switch might be a good option for you. So to run a remote switch on our Scout Light series, we have two primary options. We have our UE, which is a simple plug socket only tail cap that takes our Scout Light pressure switches. We also have our DS switch. DS stands for dual switch. It has both a plug socket for the pressure switch as well as a push button on there. The reason for that is pressure switches are like tires on a car. They will eventually wear out. Obviously you have a cable that you need to manage. It could get snagged on something, and if if that switch breaks or gets pulled out, you still have the ability to activate the light with the DS switch with that push button that's on there. That push button also is just like the Z68 in that you can momentarily activate the light or you can click it for constant on. That brings me to our pressure switch options. We have a couple different versions. We have our ST switch, which is a momentary only pad. And there's a whole bunch of different companies that make accessories that this pad specifically is meant to fit into. Magpul makes grips and rail panels. Tango Down, there's a whole bunch of different companies that make polymer furniture that this fits into. You can also just use Velcro. It ships with a couple pieces of Velcro and some alcohol wipes so you can clean the surface before you mount it, and you can Velcro it to wherever you want to intuitively activate that light. Again, this is a momentary only activation. Moving on to our brand new CSM and CSP. P stands for Picatinny, M stands for M-Lock, and the CS is compact switch. So you can see it's a much shorter switch, takes up less real estate. Guns are getting shorter, more accessories are popping on those rails, and this gives you a little more flexibility with where you can mount them. The CSP has a rail grabbing, it's a soft polymer mold, so you can just slap it onto a Picatinny rail at 12 o'clock or anywhere else you'd like to. There's some slots that enable you to add some zip ties for additional security if you really want to make sure that switch isn't going to pop off. It's a dome switch that, again, you can push momentary or you can click it for constant on, either way. And it is shrouded a decent amount on the sides to prevent negligent discharge of the light. The CSM, similar dome switch where it's shrouded. You can momentarily activate it or you can push it, click for constant on. But this is an M-Lock mounting switch, so you can put it on any M-Lock slot to wherever you like to be able to activate that light. Lastly, we'll talk about the SR07. This is still my favorite switch if you have the real estate for it. Obviously it's a little bit longer, so you have to have a rail that can fit it. But it has both a pressure switch for momentary activation as well as that click for constant on dome switch. So this is a rail grabbing switch for Picatinny rails. Most of the modern rifles that have an M-Lock rail or whatever still have a Picatinny rail at the top. I like to mount it at the 12 o'clock position because I shoot with my thumb over the top, and this is a really intuitive way to activate the light. Also, it's kind of ambidextrous, so if you're shooting it right-handed and that switch is mounted at the 12 o'clock, you have access to it with both sides. So that's kind of the long and the short on our Scout Light pressure switches and tail caps. If you want more information, check out primaryarms.com.